Shawn Teague. Welcome back to the channel. It's been, I don't know, 12 seconds.
What was that, like 15? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Although I may wait a day or two to upload it. So
I feel like I should go change shirts or something so it looks like a new day. Should we do
right.
that? Yeah.
Maybe we could do that.
Wardrobe.
Yeah. I've noticed a lot. I don't know, this camera must be doing better on Skype than it normally does because I need some makeup, I think.
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
HD was not a good thing for that.
No, that's why I had to get out of TV when I did.
Perfect face for radio.
Yeah, it turned out that was the truth. All right, the last video is fun, or iPhone rants, or Apple rants, really, too. Good. iPhone's the biggest product for Apple. I think Apple needs to adjust some things, I hope. Although I'm really looking forward to the new EarPods. Not because of any upgrades, but I can't stand the white EarPods. I'm not going to wear white EarPods. But if they come out with black, I might get some. I might get them.
I don't know. I'm an audio guy, so I like sound quality, and so that's why I yearn for a headphone jack still.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Note 9 still has an headphone jack.
All the Samsung stuff still does.
Yeah, it does. I hope.
I hope they keep their headphone jacks because the world needs headphone jacks.
It does, and maybe they'll come back. I think once a product gets rid of them, that's probably it. But who knows for sure. So this video, I want to talk about the phones that we got because we both upgraded and why we made the choices that we did. I've been throwing around my iPhone XR, and in the last video, I kind of talked about why I did get the XR. First of all, the XS and the XS Max were non-starters for me. I already had the iPhone X, and the XS was the same price for some upgrades in the camera, but not really otherwise. And then the XS Max is like, that phone's just too big from what I've seen, and $1,100. And I ranted about the storage starting the storage at 64 gigabytes. Now I cheaped out on the XR and I got 64 gigabytes. So maybe that's kind of hypocritical on my part, but $749, I could have got 128 for $799. Which I probably should have done, but that's a much better deal. And I get all of the phone up, I get the larger sensor. I get I can shoot 4K and 60 frames a second, which my computer can't edit that. So I shoot 1080p at 60 frames a second. It looks really great. And the stabilization on this camera is amazing. Go to one of my previous videos where it was iPhone XR day, and you can see how shaky it is going in with the 10 and how smooth it is coming out with the XR. And the stereo recording really makes a big difference, although I do have a lav mic that I can plug into either. So I'm really happy with the XR, but I have some complaints too that I'll get here in a second. But I'm still happy that I made this choice. So iPhone XR, still have iMessage, right? That's what every iPhone user says. I got iMessage, so there. That's my trump card. But you went with an interesting choice, so I'm interested to hear why.
I was carrying a Motorola Z2 Force.
Wow.
And I specifically sought that phone out because I really liked the idea of the little Moto mods that you could snap onto the back of it and stuff. And I thought, in this day and age, how neat is it that you can drop your phone and not be out $400 for a new screen? That was the thing with that phone, is you could take it and you could just toss it across the house and it'd land on the tile and stuff, and the screen won't break.
Wow.
And so, wow,
that's handy.
That's handy. What a innovative feature, you know.
Do you drop your phones a lot?
I can't think of the last time I dropped a phone.
Yeah, same here. No. Do you throw your phones a lot? You don't seem like an angry person. You don't seem like an angry person.
No, lots of therapy later. I'm not an angry person.
Thank goodness, yes.
But so that's what I was carrying. The screen on it was the quality of the screen. It wasn't bright enough. Daylight view, you know, if you're in the parking lot and you get a text message, you just really couldn't see it very well. Honestly, that was my biggest complaint of the phone. I liked the phone. It was virtually stock Android. So I like that. Didn't have all the Samsung bloat stuff that you're always talking about on the Samsungs.
Stop it, Samsung.
Yeah. But just being able to read the screen outside was a big hang up for me. So I was looking around and stuff. I was like, I like a smaller phone. I had an S8 Plus before that, and liked the phone really well, but it was too big. I'd like to have had something a little smaller.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, do I want to do an S9? Well, whatever the S10 is going to be out pretty soon, you know.
Right.
Um,
Going to be
and then
amazing from what I see.
that's what it looks like. So then I started looking at like the Google Pixels, the Pixel 3,
Right.
reading up on those, and they're just full of problems and stuff.
Bugs. A lot of bugs. Yep.
I don't want to be a beta tester for those guys. So somewhere on there, the OnePlus 6T came up on my radar.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, in like 4 days, it was going to be released on T-Mobile, which is who I'm with.
Yep.
So I thought, okay. So I started reading up on that, researching it and stuff. And on day one that it was available, I went in and got a OnePlus 6T.
Whoa.
And this thing is pretty slick. It's the in-screen fingerprint reader.
That's cool looking. I love that animation.
Yes.
It looks like plasma. Really, it's like plasma on your thumb. Does it hurt?
It tingles a little bit, but otherwise it doesn't really hurt. So it's got some features like the Motorola stuff has this. Some other phones, so you can double tap the screen and it turns it on. You can also double tap it again. It turns it back off.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as you pick it up, it wakes up to this always on display. And then you've got your little fingerprint thing right there. So as soon as you touch that, it will unlock the phone. Of course, I'm holding it at a weird angle.
Yeah, that's why.
That's way more screen to body ratio than an iPhone 10 has.
Yeah.
Way thinner bezels.
Yeah.
Yes, it does have a notch. You'll notice you kind of have to point it out because it's not real obtrusive. And that doesn't bother me in the least bit. So
my phone looks bigger because I'm holding it closer to the there you go.
I just got the iPhone 6 or 6T 11 12 Plus. Yeah.
Your phone is larger than mine. We compared at church last week, so you do have more screen real estate. I'm at 6.1 inch liquid Retina LCD.
Fancy. I've got OLED. Yeah. And honestly, I usually have just a black screen background.
Yeah.
Because
OLED is black. The blacks are true black.
That's just what I rock. So
right.
I used to do it on the iPhone when I was carrying an iPhone. The last iPhone I had was an iPhone 7. Yeah. Hated the home button on it. Hated that it was no headphone jack. And so I would say right now that the last great iPhone was an iPhone 6S.
Wow.
But anyway, I digress. This thing
I had the 6S Plus.
Yeah. Had a headphone jack and had a real button on it.
It's really good.
And you know what? The pictures looked pretty good.
The 7 had a better camera. I really enjoyed the 7's camera better.
It did. But, you were talking about that earlier. All the features and stuff. It's got a bionic chip in it. The iPhone 10R and 10S and all that stuff. They have this bionic chip, and it's so much faster. My mom, again, my wife, would never know the difference. Would never notice the difference.
Right.
They also will never notice the difference in the camera quality, because the only way those photos ever get out of the phone is onto Facebook.
Yep. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Now, I don't know if you saw this. If you follow MKBHD, Marcus Brownlee, he did this kind of March Madness, and he picked all these different phones and he put them in a bracket, in these brackets. And he did a really good job, I think, of spacing out. I just saw it yesterday. Just released it yesterday. And the iPhone 10s got knocked out in the first round. The iPhone 10, the iPhone 10s got knocked out by the Poco phone.
Never heard of it.
And then the Note 9 got knocked out by the Poco phone. And it came to the Huawei Mate 20 Pro versus the Poco phone in the final. And the Huawei Mate 20 Pro won. But all of these flagships, these big flagships, and the 6T did okay. I think it made it past one round, but not the second. And what he did was he posted these pictures on Instagram, and he just assigned them letters.
Are these based on camera quality? Is that what it is?
It's just what people voted on.
Okay.
So he had letters A through P or however many it were, and people just voted on their favorite head-to-head on the brackets. And he got like because he has so many followers, he had like over 1 million votes per. And so it was just kind of subjective based on those pictures. And really what he discovered was when you post to Instagram or Twitter, you lose the advantage of the bigger sensor, the crisper pictures. And really what people were voting on was, he has a darker skin tone. If you could see him better, if the colors were brighter, and if the pictures were brighter. Well, the 6T, your 6T, OnePlus 6T is going to do a good, decent job with that. My iPhone XR is going to do a decent job with that, but side by side on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. Who's going to know?
Especially if you can't do them side by side, which you can't. You have to
Right.
scroll so you can see them. As soon as you pull away that direct A/B comparison, our eyes, our ears, if we're doing listening tests and stuff, you immediately lose that comparability. Any duration that you have between comparing two different things, you immediately lose that. And so, yeah, if I would be curious how he did that. You could do a bunch of sequential posts to Instagram and see if he got the same results.
Yeah. It was really interesting. He got reaction from other tech bloggers. He did a FaceTime or Skype call with them and recorded the screen and got their reaction. They're all freaked out. It was pretty interesting to see that, and it's kind of an eye opener. And it's something you and I talked about last week at the church. Was we were talking about, for me, the photo quality is one of the biggest reasons why I pick a phone, and I'm starting to reevaluate that after our conversation and after this video, because you said if I'm going to take a high quality picture, I'm going to grab my DSLR.
I got a high quality camera.
Right.
And the cheapest DSLR you can buy will run circles around any phone. And there's so much more that goes into the quality of a photo. The way we perceive depth of field, right? So immediately, I used to have a photography business. I did photography professionally for 10 years.
Cool.
And one of the things that immediately makes your photos as a photographer stand out are fast lenses. And we're talking about that now with cell phone cameras. We've got like aperture on this thing's like an f1.7 or something. I don't know. And it doesn't matter to me because it still will not give me a shallow depth of field because the sensor is so tiny. But I used to shoot full frame Nikon cameras, and I used fast glass, so an f1.4 lens or something. And that was, the tip of my nose could be in focus and my eyelashes are out of focus.
Wow.
So when you shoot a photo and you've got this real dreamy, nice, great out of focus background behind your 6-year-old daughter who you're having a professional take photos of for you, now all of a sudden, this is something that I can't recreate with my own camera at the house. And so that's why I pay the professional for this. And so his photos look better. They're not looking at, can I see the pixels? They're not even looking at the dynamic range of the photo. They see that immediately this photo looks different than that photo.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that goes into the perception of what is a photo quality. And so, yeah, we're starting to fake that with the shallow depth of field features on some of these phones. And it is just that we're faking it. You can see around edges and stuff that it gets blurry and kind of smudged looking. So, but yeah, there's so much more that goes into it. So if I want a good high quality photo, something that I'm going to print, see these grapes back here?
Oh yeah.
That kind of stuff.
You shoot that?
Yeah. The only thing I have hanging in my house is stuff that I've shot.
Because you shot a lot of great stuff that you can hang in your house.
Because, yeah, and I'm probably not going to print anything that big, a big canvas, from something I shot on my phone.
Yeah.
If I'm shooting a cityscape or something, I could do that because I don't need that shallow depth of field. I want everything in the shot in focus. It's about using the right tool for the job, which comes back to the best camera you have is the one you have with you when you need
Right.
to take a picture.
Correct.
So cell phone cameras are fantastic now.
They
I would
are.
I would challenge Nikon, Sony, Canon, Olympus. I'd challenge all these guys to take the features that the phone manufacturers are cramming into these things and put in their big cameras. Can you imagine if we had this kind of image processing going on inside a Nikon camera body?
With the beautiful glass and the really big sensors.
Now we're talking.
Wow. Wow. I
So
think it's going to happen because I don't know this, but I would think that there's pressure on the DSLRs and the mirrorless cameras. There's being pressure put on them because your mom, your wife are probably fine with the cell phone pictures.
they are, but they will also, and again, I used to shoot tons of weddings,
Yeah.
so I'll frame up a family group shot, and I'll shoot this, and I'm holding in my hand, $6,000 worth of camera and lens, and I'm standing next to a couple of lights I've got on stands, so I've got another $1,000 tied up there. So I've got, a good chunk of money invested in this. I take the picture, and then some aunt runs up next to me. No, 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 wait, don't walk away. Let me get a picture too. And then
Yep.
she holds
Yep.
her iPad up,
I've
right?
done that. Maybe not
So
iPad, but yeah.
I hope not. Don't get caught doing that.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So while they see the difference in the quality,
Yeah.
and they'll even pay for a professional photographer to come take these shots. If it's not them paying for it, then the one they shot on their iPad is good enough.
Right. Yeah, and
So,
that's the one that gets to Facebook faster.
yep,
Right.
yep.
Immediately. Don't have to wait a couple days for the photographer to give us the proofs and all that. So
Do a whole nother podcast series on
yeah,
the photography business. Been there,
uh,
done that.
I'm really amateur with professional photography. So I like to take, and if you look at my Facebook or on my Instagram, which is Mike Shot TV, or my Twitter, which is Mike Shot TV, right.
Nice plug.
Thank you. So you can see a lot of my pictures, almost all of them are sunrises and sunsets, and most of them I take with my cell phones. And I'm having a problem with the 10R. The 10R, with its dynamic range, is doing such a good job of trying to pull out detail in the shadows that it's either overexposing the sunset or it's, and you could probably describe the effect better than me. To me, it looks like it's overchromed, if that makes sense. It looks like a coloring book on some of the brighter highlights in the clouds, and I do not like it.
No.
And so what I've been doing lately is, hang on, I've been bringing this with me, which is my Sony A5000, which is not a perfect camera by any means, but much bigger
I have that
sensor.
exact camera.
Do you really?
Yeah,
well,
I sure do.
I'm probably going to call on you to give me some hints on this thing because
hey man, that thing will make great pictures.
I am not confident enough with manual mode yet. So what I'll do is I'll put it in sunset mode or just regular sunlight and try to compare the two. But maybe I'll edit this in right here. So I'll just pretend we're seeing this photo. I did show it to you last week.
Yes. Yeah.
So here's an amazing sunset we had last week, shot on the iPhone XR. And if you didn't compare it to anything else, you would go, that's a really beautiful sunset. But I was there in person, so I know the difference. And again, some of the chroma problems are here and that sort of thing. Now look at this, shot on the Sony A5000. It's I don't know, night and day's too trite, especially when you're talking sunsets. That's not even a good pun. But this photo is so much better. So when I got home, I took the JPEG off of the Sony and I uploaded it to my Google Photos, and then went into my Google Photos on my phone, did a screenshot and cropped it so that I would have that photo on my phone. And then I shared it all everywhere, Instagrams and the Twitters, and it got, what is that commercial? 127 likes, which was actually pretty close to what it got. And so I'm coming into your camp, Shawn. I think
Come on over, Mike. It's a
I need
comfortable
to
place.
I need to learn this camera, and I need to use this camera a lot more. Now, this camera, like I said last week, I had a shoot with a nonprofit that I love. I'll just plug them, Teen Challenge of Arizona, and they had me do. I shot 35 testimonies that we used for Giving Tuesday. I was able to hand hold it with my microphone plugged in through the dongle, and because of the image stabilization, we've been talking for a long time. I'm running out of I don't know. Yes, I'm running out of ways to pronounce the words correctly. It was like it was on a tripod pretty much, and I was able to do professional video with that phone, and it's going to be fine for vlogging. I've used it for that. So I still love the 10R, but when it comes to my sunrises and sunsets, and I should probably expand into other things, this is going to have to be my camera.
I think, and again, I don't want to chase a rabbit down a trail here, but I think that YouTube, exactly what you and I are doing right now, has, I don't know, commoditized the quality of production. So what I mean by that is we are now far more accepting of bad quality than ever before.
I'm guilty.
So, absolutely. I mean, we're all doing it.
Well, and you and I are going to have to talk after this, because I'm hearing buzzing sounds coming in and out of what I'm recording.
I just laid my cell phone on my headphone cord.
So. Well, I don't think that's it. It could be my setup. My setup, I know, has a buzz in it too. So when you hear this, you're the type of person who's going to go, Mike, we got to fix that. We got to get that out of there. I'm the type of person who's going to be like, yeah, I don't like the buzzing, but a little bit. For me, it doesn't have to be perfect. And so it's difference in our personalities, I think.
Again, it's my burden to bear. But yeah, that's the thing is, I mean, now you shooting that stuff for Teen Challenge with your cell phone,
yes,
hurts me. I die a little inside when I hear that stuff. And you showed it to me, and it looked totally fine. Yeah, but you showed it to me on your cell phone. You know, so again, it's kind of a lowest common denominator thing.
Well, it was uploaded to YouTube, right? And then we also uploaded it to Facebook. So that's where those testimonies live.
And that's the thing is the way we consume media now has made it so that the quality doesn't really matter as much. I mean, think about the size of the screens that we watch stuff on.
Yep.
And it's shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Even though the phones are getting bigger, it's still a 6-inch screen.
Right. Now, I will watch YouTube on my TV. I have a 43-inch, in theory, 4K TV, but I watch 1080p on it. I don't really watch it in 4K.
Because you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Probably not. Yep. And, you know, so sometimes I do appreciate those YouTubers who do the extra quality. It can make a difference on my big screen. It'll be interesting when we're done with this and I get it edited and uploaded, what it looks like on my. I'll check it out. I know I need makeup, but other than that,
more than that, so we're not going to go there.
So, but I hear what you're saying, because I come from a TV background, and they gave us state-of-the-art cameras at the time to shoot video on. We had XLR microphones that plugged into your cameras, so that when you got interviews, the quality was excellent. And when you edited your stuff together, it was high quality that was going out over the TV, and that was just important. And I love that this is now my TV camera, and that I can edit on Sony Vegas instead of an edit bay. And then my TV channel is my YouTube channel. It's a wonderful time to be alive, but you're right. The quality is not the same.
And I would even take it a step further and say it's the production value that is suffering the most. because we've got guys, girls, whatever. We've got even huge YouTube presences that don't have that production value background. They don't know what is a high quality video. They have interesting content, maybe, or they have something relevant or interesting to say, but that's where it stops, So,
well, and again, our personalities are very different in that area. I think it bothers me less. It sounds like it bothers you more. I don't know. Hopefully my audience will be forgiving, because I don't know how much better I'm going to get than this. I don't know.
And this looks great, but it's the difference between this and I don't know, some newscaster doing an interview.
Right.
There's a dramatic difference in the content could be the same. You could bump into some celebrity on the sidewalk and say, "Hey, what do you think about the such and such that just happened?" Right. Or you could sit in a living room with lots of studio lights and a nice camera and makeup artists and stuff, and hey, what do you think about this and this that just happened? The content's the same. It's the production value. And it's, that's what's changing in our world now is information consumption. I don't need high quality production to get the same point across necessarily, but if it's an entertainment thing, then I would argue, we do need the production value. So
you make a great point. And perhaps someday, if this channel becomes successful, or one of my other channels, I have a couple others, and I start to actually make money, maybe I can pour that back into equipment, and maybe someday I can care more about production value.
And I'll be able to say, I knew Mike way back when. Yeah.
And I'll be able to say, Shawn helped me get my production value game up. That's
there you go.
Yeah, right. Well, we kind of got off topic, but that's okay.
Missed the mark, did we?
It's all good. So my iPhone, and just to conclude, my iPhone XR, I love it for video mainly. The Apple ecosystem is fine with me. I've had Androids in the past. I was fine with that ecosystem, if there is one, really. I have a Google Home over by my TV. I have Siri on my phone. I used to have an Alexa. Oh, sorry. I used to have a Echo. Don't want to trigger anybody. So I like all of, I'm geeky enough to like all of it. I just have an iPhone right now.
I think I'm very much in the same camp. I'm at the point now where I'm platform agnostic. Right. I have preferences, but I am forced to use a little bit of everything. And so I've gotten rid of my anger issues.
That's good.
And I've figured out how to use Windows, Macs. I've got a little bit of background on some Linux stuff, even iPhones, Android. One of my favorite phone platforms?
Don't say it. No, he said it. I've got a
couple of old Windows Phone devices up in my drawer somewhere. And you know what? You know what I liked about them? It looked like somebody cared about the user interface.
Wow. I have some friends that live in France, and when they were down for Thanksgiving, gosh, it's been 4 or 5 years now, they had Windows phones. I was kind of like, really? Is that a thing in France? I don't know.
I ought to bring one up to the church someday and give you a tour, and you would say, this is brilliant. Why did this die?
Well, it's a whole nother show, and we can talk about it. One of the Windows phones that came out, if I remember right, had something like 43 megapixel camera, 41 megapixel camera. And you could see people like in the nosebleed section of a concert, and then they're cropping in, and it looks like a good picture, like they're front row.
I had one of them.
Interesting. All right.
That's going to go down as one of my favorite cell phones.
All right. So someone put this in their notes.
Put a pin in it.
A future topic is the Windows Phone.
How Windows Phone died.
Why it failed. There weren't enough Shawn Teagues in the world.
I tried.
Shawn, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate
it. Absolutely, man. It's fun.
So we talked about doing this maybe weekly. So I'm good.
Bring it on.
Okay. Shawn
do
will
it.
be back. This is fantastic. Shawn, have a great week. I'll see you soon. I know we have some rehearsals for some Christmas things coming up. So remind me so I don't flake out on you.
This is the longest I've been at home in a week.
Yeah, December will end and things will calm down a little in
Counting on
January.
it.
Yeah,
Counting.
very good.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, boss.
Thanks,
We'll
Mike.
talk to you soon. All right,
right.
and thank you for tuning in. If you liked it, like it, subscribe, comment, all that good YouTube stuff. You know what to do. We'll see you soon.